L'attaccato Stacy.
That's all.
Okay. L'attaccato Stacy, everybody stay there.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Papa. Happy birthday to you.
My father came to the United States in 1912. He's been involved in the sponge business ever since he arrived here. He married my mother in 1923. They had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls.
Everybody married. Live very nice. Everybody. He lived very close for here, this area.
When Mother passed away about 4 years ago, we really missed her because my mother with my dad, that was our family. Mary took over where Mom left off. Mary is the oldest. She was her firstborn. Since Mother passed away, Mary is the mother of the Georgiou family. My brother Steve is 3 years younger than me.
Johnny's our youngest brother. He's about a year and a half younger.
Diane is a popular individual. Presently, she's employed part-time with the local police force.
I was a baby of the family, of course, probably a little spoiled in the other ones, but it's just a great family to be from, as far as I'm concerned.
Diane's also employed at Wallace's Seafood Fish Market here in town.
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good.
What you need today?
Let's take a look at this grouper.
Oh. In a small town like Tarpon, and growing up here and knowing them all, this is what we're accustomed to. It's our way of life, and we're fortunate to have our children like the town and want to grow up in it too. And here at Wallace's, my son George works with me.
How you doing, George?
Okay, Joe, how you been?
Cutting up again, huh?
Yeah, cutting up.
My brother Steve is a very, very hard worker. He believes in working around the clock 7 days a week. He takes that from my dad and my mother. So it just kind of rubbed off on the children. His oldest boy, George, named after my father, he works at the ways with Steve. It's not that they're forced to do it, it's something that they really want to do.
What influence did you think your grandfather had in your life?
Being named after him, I always wanted to work towards becoming a captain. That's one goal I have. I'd like to be able to live as long as he has and be in as good a shape as he is, being around the water for so many years.
My father is very independent for his age. He's not a burden to us, but he knows that if he needs anything, we're right there. He likes my cooking. I do all the cooking for him. He won't come here to eat. He wants to do everything in his home. He's got this huge house, and he won't move out of it. I take the food up to him every evening, set it up for him, sit down with him a little while, and see him. After supper, he usually goes down to the coffee shop. There's not too many of his old friends left, a few, and I think they just get together down there and kind of talk about old times and how it used to be and just more or less reminisce, and he enjoys this. He's right there when we need him, and we do still take advice from him because I think he did a pretty good job with his life and the way he brought us up, and we want to do the same thing with our children.
Okay, okay, bye-bye, Dad.
Mary works for John at the gift shop. Her working for John is really a big help for him. If he has to go out of town on her day off, he'll call Mary up, and Mary's right there back in the shop. We're fortunate to have her as Our sister, she's one in a million.
You're on top of the dial with Stereo 107, WWBA.
Johnny's another hard worker. About 3 years ago, Johnny had a terrible crisis. George, his oldest boy, had an accident out at the lighthouse, which is about 9 miles from the Anclo River where the boats are. He had his own outboard and went shelling on a very, very bad day. And he probably saw the boat drifting away from the island and tried to swim after it. Must have gotten a cramp, and that's when he drowned. This has happened over 3 years ago, and to this day he cannot even talk about it. I guess you never really get over a thing like that because George was only 17 years old at the time when it happened, and I don't think they came any better than that. He was just really a great kid. His father had him on the party boat since he was 2 years old, so he just grew to love the water. And that's the part that was hard for the family to accept, the fact that the tragedy took place in the water. I tell you, God is strong. He's great because he gave the whole family, especially John, strength to just continue and go on. And God has a way of doing things like that. My mother was a very religious person, and they were very strict, like being at home a certain time, going to Greek school after we got out of American school, going to church and Sunday school every Sunday. When you're a child, you kind of resent having to do things their way, but we're glad it all turned out that way because we taught our children this way and the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, and so on. If you're named after a saint, the Greek custom is on the saint's name day, you celebrate this as your birthday.
Maria, this is my birthday and your birthday and she's so Santa's birthday, okay? Oh, no. It's just her name day. Oh, just Maria's name day. Happy birthday. No, Art. Stephanie, you want to take the kids in the other room, honey? Mary, you know who's missing here tonight? Mama.
You never accept it when you lose any of your parents, especially the mother. That was a very bad tragedy for my dad because she passed away 3 months before their 50th wedding anniversary.
Every August the 15th show is going baseball.
That's a long time to be with one person. You certainly miss them.
What's going to happen to this extended family feeling when your grandfather dies?
Well, I've thought about it a lot, and when I do think about it, I break down crying sometimes because we've had him for so many years. I'm 25 years old, and he's, you know, ever since I've been growing up, every time we go somewhere, he's always there, and it's going to be hard. It's sad thinking about it now, so I can imagine what's going to happen then on my part.
What kind of closeness do you get out of being 4 generations living very close to each other?
You know, you always have someone to go to.
You can't go to your mother, your parents. You can always go to an aunt or an uncle. You know, it depends on the situation. But there's always someone there, you know, if you really need them.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Papa said.
Get lipstick all over you.
Embarrassing.
You kissed him, didn't you?
My father's 82nd birthday was really a big event for us, knowing that he is up in age and not knowing if we're going to have him with us next year. We really went all out, and Papa really enjoyed it, having his family and his grandchildren and great-grandchildren there with him. I think we owe it to our parents that brought us up this way, and we're doing it with our children, and their children. It just keeps going on and on.
You come back in 20 years and see the 5th generation of the Georgiou family. We'll still be here.